And once again, the breaking news, a jury has been seated in the case against Chad Daybell in Ada County, Idaho, Boise, Idaho. This is where the case will be tried. This is a look. We're going to be able to watch this one, unlike Lori Vallow Daybell's case where we didn't have cameras. Yeah, they're not the best cameras in town. They're court provided, but we will be able to see and hear the trial against Chad Daybell play out. Opening statements have been set for Wednesday. In this case, we're going to check in with our Matt Johnson as soon as he's out of the courtroom. For now, we'll check in with Michael Jaffer, national trial attorney. And this case is going to be a lot of the same that we saw play out in Lori's case with some nuanced differences. You have one of the biggest differences is you have a guy by the name of John Pryor sitting next to Chad Daybell, and he is, well, he's a lion. He gets into a courtroom. He's very smart, but he's also very aggressive, and you're going to see a different scenario. Let's face it, they laid down and watched Lori drop her attorneys the first time around, for the most part. This is a death case as well, adds another level of complexity. What are you going to be looking for, Michael Jaffer, as this jury that was just seated starts absorbing the evidence?
I'm looking for several things. The first thing I'm looking for is the gravity at which they're going to throw Lori Daybell under the bus. I mean, they are going to do it so aggressively, so viciously, that you'll think to yourself, this woman has been his enemy since day one. They're going to drop her to the ground. They're going to roll her over 10 times to Sunday. That's the first thing. The second thing I'm looking for is something that I'm very curious about. People always talk about attorneys and they say, I want somebody who is aggressive. I want somebody who goes into the court and yells at people. That doesn't play well with jurors. We know that at least almost half the jury pool in this case are female. It doesn't play well for females. They're already coming into this case thinking to themselves, I've known a guy like Chad Daybell before. I hate people like Chad Daybell. I've met a guy before who manipulated me, who controlled me, right? That's the narrative that they come into this case for, and there's no such thing as an impartial jury, right? I don't even think his attorneys even had an inclination that they're going to get a jury that has ever heard of this case. Every single juror is going to come into this case with an opinion. If they come into this case with that opinion that he's a manipulator, and then his attorney comes in there and tries to school them, I think it's going to play very poorly. So I'm really looking and curious to see how meek his attorney, because he has to be meek. The most powerful trial attorneys are the ones that are meek in a courtroom. They're meek. Their presentation is meek. It's colloquial. It's kind. It's professional. It's very, very soft spoken, right? I'm looking to see that. But if he comes in there aggressive, hey, you're better suited to go for like a bull taming show, not for this. This is a very, very,
I think you're going to see. I mean, he's aggressive when he needs to be, but I've seen him in action, and he'll read the jury and play it. And women on the jury may help him, because I would think that his defense is going to be, listen, my guy, Chad, is the ultimate nerdy dude who wrote these religious books and would go around and talk to people. Look at him. And then one day, Lori showed up, and she was the manipulator, where maybe women can associate with that. Who knows? This is going to be, I mean, the women-man thing, I don't know if it really matters anymore with juries much, but they're going to have to thread a needle if they have a prayer here, because let's face it, both of these guys were in lockstep, and 2 kids ended up dead along with someone's wife, and it's his wife is really going to make people disgusted. Really, you killed your wife for this woman, Lori Vallow. Now, was he hypnotized by Lori's beauty? Well, that's not an excuse, is it, Michael? I mean, no. This is I don't know how you thread any sort of needle with the bad fact pattern here. Is it just a matter of saving his life?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The facts against him are not as bad as the facts were against his ex-wife. They were not as bad, because at the end of the day, they still were not his kids, right? The murder was still done by her and her own family, right? These were not his children. He did not pull the trigger. He was not even in the, I don't even know if he was in the same state or if he was not in the same town as when the murders happened, right? So the facts against him they're not great. they're bad, but they're not nearly as bad as his wife. And so that's why I think that their approach is going to be, yes, thread the needle, but threading the needle is going to include pounding Lori into the ground. They're going to pound her. They're going to eviscerate her. They're going to eviscerate any mention. It's actually comically ironic because he's one of those doomsday prophets. Well, she's got her doomsday coming, and he's going to be the executioner.
And the other X factor is this Alex Cox. This is Lori's brother, who was the family assassin, according to the statement. From anybody who's looked into this comes to that conclusion. He was there. He's the one that everybody believes is responsible for the actual deaths of Tylee and JJ, and of Tammy. But the bodies are on Chad's back lawn. I mean, JJ and Tylee are found in Chad's on Chad's property. That is a very difficult problem for the defense. We'll see how it all plays out. Let's check in with Matt Johnson. He just walked out of the courthouse in Ada County. There he is in Boise. Matt, all right, we've been reporting. We have a jury. What were your observations?
We have a jury, and it was completely dead silent in the Ada County Courthouse, in that courtroom number 400, the same courtroom where Lori was convicted. Chad sat there with his hands folded and would sigh down at the numbers that John Pryor, his defense attorney, would cross off. And then it was a deputy that would walk between the defense table and the state as they each took turns making selections and crossing off numbers and then handing it to the judge. At the end of the day, it was a long wait, and there was a sidebar, and then everyone that their number was called was excused. So that was about 31 people because the 32nd person didn't show up today. So we have a jury of 18, and this involves 10 men and 8 women. They range anywhere between 30s and 60s. Everyone is Caucasian, and they're being read additional instructions today, and they're being told that opening statements in this death penalty trial against the Doomsday Prophet is Wednesday.
Fascinating. And it's Wednesday. Interesting that they're pushing the openings to, I guess, allow, or do we even know, allow both sides to prepare and get jurors set? Any reason given for the, sometimes we see judges say, oh, let's do it right now in the afternoon.
Right, they're hashing out some housekeeping right now, and our field producer Tiffany is still in the courtroom. But from what I gather, we can't ask these attorneys any questions just yet until after their opening statements, because only the attorneys in this case are under a gag order. Ted.
All right, that makes sense. Matt Johnson, thank you. That's the breaking news. Matt will be there for the opening statements in the first part of this trial, and we will be watching it very closely. Michael Jaffer, last word before we hit a commercial break. Does Chad take us the stand? Is this a Hail Mary we might be anticipating, or are the questions just too much when you're dealing with 2 dead kids in his backyard?
Ted, I hate it when you make me think so hard, right? This is going to be a tough one. Depending on how the evidence comes out against him. You asked a question. I was hoping you wouldn't ask that question, because that is the question of the day. It's a tough question to answer. It's so difficult. You're right to get there, because at the end of the day, if they throw her under the bus, he's going to have to take the stand and say, look, I had no idea what this lunatic was doing with her brother, right? What the heck do I have to do with any of this stuff? They buried it in my they buried the remains in my backyard, but what do I have to do with the murder, right? The murder happened before they were buried, and I have this massive property, and she lived there. Where else is she going to bury? If she did something nefarious, where is she going to cover it up? She's not going to cover it up at the neighbor's house. She's going to cover it up at my house. I was a victim just like everybody else. I'm just an author, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think that's the playbook that they're going to employ. So to answer your question, he might have to take the stand if the evidence trends in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really get across that it's Lori and Alex's fault, and I had nothing to do with it unless you can explain yourself. Michael Jaffer, as always, thank you.